Well, let's see if we can use gCADPlus to produce a design for a small space, some 5 meters by 3 meters. We might pick the File and New option, and I'll choose this template, a so-called funky template, and that throws up this view here. We can create our drawing, our design over here. It's a drawing for a construction of a small demonstration garden space, if you like, and might be the sort of thing you'd see in an exhibition. So the first step is to remove the text that's over here. This is just telling us to put our design in that zone. So we'll select it. I'll escape from there. You could pick each individual piece of text in turn. You might find, it's worth looking, you might find that up here in what's called the properties box, that your copy of gCADPlus shows a 1. What that means is that if I pick that first piece of text, then the second piece of text, the first selection disappears. So if I change that from a 1 to a plus, you can pick all 3 pieces of text, or alternatively, just click bottom and top right and create a window, or you can even create a window this way. Notice that the 2 windows have a different background. This window here is a crossing window. Whatever crosses the selected text will be erased. So I can erase the text. I'll zoom out a little. What this template gives us is the ability to lay down a rectangle that delineates the space that we've got available for this design, and gives us some symbols over here that we can place into position. So what I'm going to do is change to a layer called Site Boundary. So I'll select the Site Boundary layer. Notice that it's grayed out. There's nothing on it at the moment, and I'm going to make it current by clicking on this little tick. So I'll go OK. Before I do that, I might actually change the foreground color to red so that it's now current, and whatever we draw on that layer will be red. So we'll say OK. Now I'll pick the rectangle tool, and rectangle has a number of options. I'll pick the 2-point option. And if you look down here in this command line and at the intersection of the crosshair cursors, we're being asked to specify the first corner point. I'm going to type 0, 0. That means an x coordinate of 0 and a y coordinate of 0. And as I pull away from it, you may notice it's being anchored down there at the bottom left of the screen. And the space that we've got available for this little design is very small. It's 5 meters, and we're working in millimeters as our base unit. So we type 5,000, 3,000 and hit enter. And in goes a rectangle representing our design space. But you'll notice it's got a funny line type pattern. We can fix that up in a couple of different ways, but for the moment I'll just select the rectangle, and I'll change the line type scale here from 100 to 1, and then unselect all and come back in. So there's our rectangle delineating our design space. Let's just move things, and I'm moving things by holding the wheel of the mouse down, keeping it down, and panning across. So what we want to do is put a little design in here. The value of starting with this template is that we can select elements in here and just put into our design. What I'm going to use is the distance tool, and I just want to make sure that this chairs and decking area is big enough to fit. You can see it's 2538. So clearly that little design for a raised decking and table and chairs will fit. So if we select it, we can copy it. We'll leave a copy there. We can copy it, and I'll put it over here, or even down in this zone there. And the copy command keeps on working, so I'll right click to finish, and we have a copy of that in that zone. I'll further right click and unselect all. A trap for beginners is to leave something selected. What we're going to do now is select the decking, and we'll just rotate it until it sits in the position that we want. So all I did there was just get hold of that little blue circle handle and just swing it. I'll unselect all. Now we can pick it and put it into position. So I'll put it about there. I'll leave some space. I'll unselect all. I'll leave some space for some planting here and certainly some planting in that corner. So we have a deck. We'll imagine that visitors are coming along here. This is our space and we can look into this environment here. So here's our little deck. Now we want, that'll be raised up, and we want a further raised deck, so it'll be a step up into one deck here and then higher step to the raised seating platform. If we come over here, we've got another little deck that could be used. So if we select that one there, we could do the same, copy it and put it here and finish, and then select it, and we can tweak it like so. So just rotating it around. Now we'll select move. I'm doing all this with the right mouse button, and we'll put it into position. And you can see what's happening over on the right hand side, because I'll unselect all there, and we had both selected, and so we were moving both at the same time. So this little paved area has got some interesting design features and little strands running through, and those strands will actually reflect in the upright that's at the back there. But I digress. Let's move that one into position. I'll tuck it just under the steps like so, and you might think, well, this is now in the wrong elevation. What we want to do is to put it under the decking. A couple of ways to do that. If you pick tools and draw order, we want to send it to the back. So we can say send to the back this entity there, right click to, hit enter to finish. Now that entity goes to the back. Now we've got some space. We could put some rounds in here. We've got some little rounds there. We could copy that one. Pick it, right click, copy, and put some rounds there and there and there. So and we can finish. So we now have a little some stepping rounds to reach the design. And so our design is taking shape nicely. What we now want to do, let's unselect all. You might have noticed the round was still selected. Let's bring in a larger deciduous tree. So we'll copy that tree, pop that into the back corner, right click and select finish. Again, unselect all because we don't want it to stay selected. You might find it easier to move things rather than copy as I've been doing. So let's try that. We can dress this up by, say, picking one of these, and we'll move it from there, put it in position, and then copy it down. So copy from there down through there and there, and we'll tuck another one under there. So we've got some screening at the rear of the screened area, and I'll leave it to you to further dress things up. You might choose, these are symbols, you can choose your species later. You might want some rather larger screening plants to frame things on this area through here, and you might want one guy like this, so we'll copy him. Whoa! You can see the error of my ways. I'll now move that one into position there, and then select it, copy it again. I like plants in groups of 3 or odd numbers at least. So we've got a clumping group there. We could move the stepping round there to get a better design, and I'm sure you can find some other symbols that would work. Let's move this one. Moving definitely works easier when you are beginning. So we'll copy that one, copy, 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 and we'll finish. Unselect all. Now, apart from maybe some ground cover symbols that go in here and one or two extra there, can we find another one? Another small plant. This one here that looks a little like a croton, we'll put in there, and there, and there, and we are nearly done. I'm just looking for a symbol that might work as a ground cover. This one might work, so we can copy it and pop it there, there, and there. And you can see it's easy to remove the errors and select them and erase them. So there's our design complete. That took all of 5 minutes. So the value of a template is substantial. You could tweak this design a little more, I'm sure. And I hope that gives you an idea of how you can use a template to quickly create some design work.